We're taking you across the border to show you the same Iguassu Falls, but from the Argentine side.
From the gate to the station, where we catch the train to Devil's Throat station, we walk 1.3 miles together, going back, and you see Devil's Throat. After Devil's Throat, you have the option to go to the lower path with my friend, brave friend here, Dennis. Okay, the lower path demands much more walking. Okay, it's much longer than Devil's Throat. It's involved many steps, up and down, up and down. Okay, many steps. So who doesn't want to go to the lower? I can take to the upper. It's another beautiful part. Okay, so I have the choice to go to the lower or to the upper.
The facilities for the visitor here are top-notch. And there's this shuttle train. It's about a mile shuttle to bring you from the parking area over to the waterfall itself. It used to be that the tour buses would drive along a dirt road to get to the waterfall area, but now it's all done on this little train, which is far more ecological. They're very concerned about protecting the natural environment here at Iguassu, and we get a great view from the open sides of this little train. Take some pictures of some wildlife in the trees, some parrots, there's butterflies here. And it's a short ride, and soon enough we are walking towards the falls. We're going over these cantilevered walkways. They occasionally get washed away during heavy storms, but fortunately they've put in some heavy-duty walkways now that are not washed away despite this huge amount of water. We're now at the Devil's Throat. This is on the Argentine side. We're standing just above the waterfall, looking down at it. It's really a wonderful perspective. You can see maybe why they call it the Devil's Throat. Of course, looking at pictures is nothing compared to being there. Just imagine standing at the railing and seeing these tons and millions of metric tons of water pouring over. It's really an astonishing sight from the Devil's Throat. Here you're looking down into the Devil's Throat. At some point you can stand and just almost feel like you're flying over the falls. It's an amazing illusion. You get a fantastic view looking down. From the Brazilian side, you get a different view looking up, and then you can see the side falls as well. So it's a huge complex. Regarding the size of Iguassu, people always want to know, is this the world's biggest waterfall? Well, it depends on how you measure things. One can certainly argue that this is the world's best waterfall. It's the world's most spectacular waterfall, the world's most beautiful waterfall. Is it the largest? Well, not really. Actually, there's more water that comes over Niagara Falls, 750,000 gallons per second on average at Niagara, and here we've got 450,000 gallons per second. But in so many ways, it's the world's most spectacular falls. Iguassu is wider than Niagara, over 250 feet high. So huge, it's so awesome and beautiful, and very accessible. You can see every part of it. There's marvelous walkways that go right through the forest on the Argentine side, and these walkways are pretty level. They go for over a mile, and there are some staircases that go up and down, but for the most part, they're level, they're very safe, they've got the railings and good secure footing, so you're not going to be getting in trouble over here. You're not going to get lost because you go in one end of the walkway and you'll come out the other end, no problem. And it leads you to a series of cascades. The big waterfall is at one end of the park, and then along the side of the river are a series of cascades. They're not quite as large as the Devil's Throat and the main cascade, but they're quite interesting nonetheless. Then we get a view looking back at the main cascades from the walkways. Now here we're looking at the side cascades, and you see these are also quite huge. At this point, you're right up next to the waterfall. That's really quite a treat. And there's another platform up at the top of the waterfall. You'll see some other people looking down. So this is a great spot to get your pictures without getting wet, depending on which way the wind's blowing. And you've got many different vistas and perspectives on the Argentine side. It's actually over a mile, 1.6 miles in width there on the Argentine side. Iguassu is not the widest waterfall in the world. That distinction belongs to a little-known waterfall in Laos in Southeast Asia, Kone Waterfall. It's about 6 miles wide. However, it's not very high. It's 69 feet high. It's along the Mekong River, and that's the main reason why the Mekong is not navigable into China, because of this very wide Kone Waterfall in Laos. The width of Iguassu depends on how you're measuring it. There's an upper falls, and then there's a lower plateau, which has its own set of cascades. Now, the width at the upper fall dimension is 1.8 miles. But if you include the width of the lower waterfall, which adds almost another half a mile, we get 2.2 miles in width. Truly one of the world's greatest natural wonders. There's the observation platforms. You can get right out to the water's edge if you want to, and you'll even get a little bit wet from the mist. Or you could get a lot wet from the mist. You can get real close to the falls here. And walking along, we see some of the wildlife. The little quati, the quatimanti. Looks like a little raccoon with a pointed snout. So this is a lot of fun for us. It's an exotic looking animal. And they're not dangerous. They're certainly not gonna run up and bite you. If you taunt them with a banana, they might come and grab it away from you. But these are friendly and cute little guys. They do their scavenging right around by the cafe itself. And of course we all want to get pictures of them. So it takes an hour and a half to do the lower trail. And we emerge out of that guided walkway onto the park grounds themselves. That wraps up our intensive view of Iguassu Falls. We've shown it to you from every possible angle. Now all that's left is having lunch. There's a lovely Sheraton hotel here in the Argentine side. A very good restaurant where we're going to have a lunch feast at La Salva Restaurante. Another buffet extravaganza. Lots of vegetables. You just help yourself. You eat as much or as little as you like. And it's all quite freshly cooked and quite delicious. Nice variety. Another way to see the falls is on a helicopter ride. It is an amazing experience. Here's some footage that we took a while back. It's just a 10-minute ride, and it'll cost you about $40, $50, but it is well worth it. You get this bird's eye view. He flies around one time, and then you come back for a landing. So be sure to consider that option when you're at the falls. And then in flying away, we were on our regular scheduled jetliner. The pilot managed to take a little loop around the waterfall for us for some final parting views of this amazing Iguassu Falls on the border of Brazil and Argentina. What an experience it's been.